My beautiful people, my beautiful people, my beautiful people. Welcome back to another episode of the Logical Emotions Podcast / Reactions. It's your dog, your brother man, your favorite uncle, your favorite nephew, Melly baby. Today we're going to go over one of my legendary players that helped me get to the way I am today. The late, great, may he rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. So on Legend of Winning's channel, he goes through a lot of debunking, a lot of factual information that's very important to the game. And on this episode, he's going to debunk the biggest lie told about Kobe Bryant's career. So let's get right into it, man. Actually, before we do, you know how it goes, the intro.
YouTube is the one and only Legend of Winning, aka Low, and in today's video,
My dog,
we're going
Low.
to talk about the man, the myth, the legend, Kobe Bean Bryant,
May he rest in peace.
who's a Hall of Famer, my favorite player, and just a few weeks ago was named one of the top 75 greatest players of all time. Now, to be fair, Kobe Bryant is a very polarizing
In my top 10
player.
forever.
And with that stance, there's a lot of criticism that also follows his greatness, most of which I do agree with and I do believe is valid. However, there is one piece of criticism that I never thoroughly understood: the concept of Kobe Bryant is inefficient.
Kobe was efficient, bro.
Kobe was efficient, but at the same time,
He was not that efficient.
Kobe is not efficient at all.
Oh, this jackass. Using him as an example.
Inefficient.
Oh, he was inefficient.
Now, the reason why this statement always leaves me scratching my head is because when I was watching Kobe Bryant, it never felt like he was inefficient. It felt like he was dominant, producing in meaningful moments, one of the greatest scorers I've ever seen in my life. And of course, there were the occasional games that certainly are a blemish on his career.
Let's not forget, a lot of people said that Stephen Curry was insufficient. So I'm just saying, and a lot of people be like, where? Yeah, I know. People are very dumb. Very dumb.
And please don't spend too much time on the last 3 years of his career, because I'm definitely not going to try to defend it. But as a whole, I just don't understand how 19 years of a career as great as Kobe Bryant can be.
It says, no, Bryant is inefficient even by Los Angeles standards. A career 45% shooter. Kobe is shooting at an even 43% after spending most of the season closer to 42. In his best seasons, Bryant averaged closer to 46 or 47%.
So synonymous with the term inefficient.
Let's see how Low
so in
talks
today's
about
video, we're going to see if that's true, because personally, I have a hard time believing that it is. Now, in terms of finding out how efficient a player is in the NBA, there are a handful of ways of doing so. For one, there's an actual stat called efficiency, or you can look at one's PER, which stands for player efficiency rating. However, most people are not aware of these statistics, and even the people who are aware of them really don't even know how to properly calculate them to make an assessment on a player. But if you are someone who claims that Kobe Bryant is inefficient based off of his PER, I then would ask you, would you then claim that players such as Klay Thompson, Reggie Miller, or Ray Allen were inefficient because all three of those players have a lower PER than Kobe Bryant? Which more than likely, no, you would not. And the biggest reason why is because when people are critiquing Kobe Bryant's efficiency, they are referencing how efficiently does he put the ball in the basket. And the reason why I'm confident to coming to this conclusion is because when many people are making this assessment on Kobe, they then pivot to facts about Kobe Bryant's field goal percentage, or also highlighting how he has the most misses in NBA history, which is factually correct. However, and I cannot believe I have to say this in 2021, but it still blows my mind how many experts still make this mistake to this day. But field goal percentage does not calculate efficiency. Now, why is that? Well, simply put, because the definition of being efficient means achieving maximum productivity with minimum wasted effort or expense. And in basketball terms, that basically means maximizing the amount of points that you score with minimum amount of attempts shooting the basketball. And because of that simple definition alone, field goal percentage literally cannot equate to efficiency, because the only thing that field goal percentage equates to is accuracy. Let's say you have player A and player B. Player A shot 5 for 10 from the field, all of which were 2-pointers, so that means that they scored 10 points with a field goal percentage of 50%. However, player B shot 4 for 9 from the field, which means that they have a field goal percentage of 44%, but since all of the shots that they made were 3-pointers, they were able to score 12 points. Now, even though player B had a lower field goal percentage, they still are more efficient than player A because they were able to score 12 points on 9 shot attempts, while player B was only able to produce.
Also, this is still learning for me too, because because I do understand the whole 4 for 9 only on threes and the 5 for 10 only on 2. I do understand that concept. I have beforehand, but but there's gonna be a lot of things that we're gonna be learning here. So let's all pay attention to this.
10 points on 10 shot attempts. So again, scoring more points on fewer attempts, thus making that player more efficient. So now you may be wondering, how exactly do we calculate efficiency if field goal percentage is unable to do so? Well, the best way to do so is to look at one's true shooting percentage. And the reason why is because true shooting percentage takes into consideration that threes are more valuable than twos, as well as looking at one's production at the free throw line. And the reason why it is important to make sure we take into consideration free throws is because 20 to 30% of the points that volume scorers record come from the free throw line. Yeah. Now, for the people out there who are concerned about the legitimacy of true shooting percentage, especially when you're trying to figure out the true efficiency of big men who did not shoot threes or also were horrible at free throw shooting, trust me when I say please don't be too concerned, because when you look at the numbers, you'll clearly see those players are still very efficient scorers. But what is a legitimate concern is determining what is the standard of efficiency. Because comparing Kobe Bryant to today's era of basketball, quite honestly, just wouldn't do him any justice, mainly because how much the game of basketball has changed since he's played a full season in the NBA. And so to make sure we eliminate all of those factors, we're only going to be comparing Kobe Bryant to his peers, players who played within the years 2000 to 2013 and played at least 500 games, and players who averaged at least 19 points or more. Not only does this remove all variables that will be out of Kobe Bryant's control, while also excluding the tail end of certain players' careers like Karl Malone, or the first couple of years of other players' careers like Damian Lillard. So, with those parameters set, what exactly is the standard of efficiency between the years of 2000 and 2013, or better known as the league average true shooting percentage? And that number is 53%. So, that's the magic number, and here is the graph. On the
Want to enter a healthcare field in demand? Become an occupational therapy assistant through St. Kate's.
The x-axis, we have the points per game average, and on the y-axis, we have the true shooting percentages. Again, 53% is the league average throughout this 14-year span, so that line will be bolded. And now, all the dots on the screen represent all of the volume scores throughout this time frame. Now, of course, on the screen, we have some familiar faces. All the way up here, we have Ray Allen, who was easily the most efficient perimeter-oriented player within this time frame. And right above him, we have both Amari Stoudemire and Shaquille O'Neal. So,
really, Stoudemire over Shaq? Really? Very interesting.
For the people out there who were concerned about how
as he said, Shaq doesn't make free throws, he doesn't shoot threes, he doesn't shoot middies. I mean, but middies are still considered field goals. It's okay.
Affects big men. Well, both players not only did not shoot any threes, but Shaq is historically one of the worst free throw shooters in history, and
makes
yet
sense.
Both of them have the highest true shooting percentages. Now, below league average, you have players such as Monte Ellis and Antoine Jameson. However, what really threw me by surprise was Tracy McGrady. However, when you take into consideration that McGrady was dealing with a lot of injuries, as well as him being a subpar free throw shooter, then I guess a true shooting percentage of 52% somewhat makes sense. But we're not here for that, because we got to figure out where exactly is Kobe Bryant. Now, if you are someone who believes that Kobe was inefficient, then you probably believe that this dot here belongs to him, as not only is it someone below league average in true shooting, but also has a high volume in terms of his scoring prowess. However, you would be wrong. That dot doesn't belong to Kobe Bryant. That's actually Allen Iverson, who had a true shooting percentage of 51.
So right here is Monte Ellis,
which means that this dot here belongs to Kobe Bryant, who averaged 27.8 points per game.
He's about 56. Yeah.
This
way above the league average.
With a true shooting percentage of 55.6%, which makes his true shooting percentage above league average. But more importantly, this does mean that Kobe Bryant is an efficient volume scorer. Now, with that myth being debunked, and while I have your attention, there are a few other things that I want to just tackle just briefly.
Before he gets into it, so let me ask you all this before he even gets into this. Why do you think people keep lying then? And saying things such as that Kobe Bryant is inefficient. We have the proof right here. What is the reason? If he doesn't explain after I, ask this question, comment down below. Why do you think the media is doing this.
It is amazing to me that Kobe, who again has a true shooting percentage of 55.6, still consistently gets hit with the label of inefficient, but you have a player like D Wade, who has a true shooting percentage of 56.7%, or even LeBron, who had a true shooting percentage of 57.5% during his time frame, and yet no one claims that they are quote-unquote inefficient, despite the fact that their level of efficiency is relatively similar to Kobe's. But hey, I guess technically speaking, they're higher, so you might be able to make the argument. But what about KG or Tim Duncan? Both players have a true shooting.
Tim Duncan had 55. Damn, they're basically the same thing as Kobe Bryant as well, too. Kobe 55.6. He's actually even better than Tim Duncan. Wow. I did not know that. Wow. And I would always call Tim Duncan Mr. Efficient. That's crazy. Or Mr. Fundamentals. Those are two names I used to always call Tim Duncan. Mr. Fundamentals and Mr. Efficient. Because he would always hit you on the low block. He would always... Wow. Bro, that's crazy. And he's better than KG too. Nah, that's crazy.
Shooting percentage that is lower than Kobe's, and again, no one doesn't claim that they are inefficient ball players. So because of this, I dug a little deeper, because there had to be some inkling of proof that Kobe Bryant was inefficient at scoring the basketball. I looked back on a year-to-year basis throughout the years 2000 and 2013, and no, still could not find a single year where Kobe Bryant had a true shooting.
1999 to 2000. This dude only had a negative in 2011 to 2012. Wow. Wow, bro. He never went below. Yeah, the lowest he's went is 52.7. Wow. So he went under the league average a little bit during later on in his years, and then he shot back right up the year after the 57%. That's crazy.
Shooting that was below league average. Matter of fact, he has some seasons where his true shooting percentage is 3 to.
Actually, I'm sorry. Sorry, I was reading them wrong. I'm sorry, I was reading them wrong. Jesus Christ. But either way, though, he did phenomenal. Oh my God, Kobe.
4% higher than league average. Actually, the year in which he led the NBA, averaging 31 points per game, he had a true shooting percentage of 58%, which is mind-blowing and should be even further proof that Kobe Bryant is not inefficient at all. But yet I kept digging. I then went to the playoff numbers, and still no proof. Kobe Bryant's true shooting percentage does dip by 1%. However, that is very common amongst
still
many
over the average
scores. But even with a 1% drop in his true shooting percentage, Kobe would still be above league average. Furthermore, when I dug even deeper into Kobe Bryant's playoff performances, I started to notice a very consistent pattern, and that is Kobe Bryant matched up against some of the most toughest defensive competition in league history. See, Kobe played in arguably the most defensive-oriented era in NBA history. And on top of the fact that he played in the Western Conference, which was significantly tougher than the Eastern Conference, and it actually makes sense how consistently Kobe matched up against top 10 defenses in the NBA on a year-to-year basis. To put a number on it, again, between the years of 2000 and 2013, Kobe Bryant matched up against 36 teams in the playoffs. Out of those 36 teams, 28 of them had a top 10 defense or better, which means that over 75% of the time, Kobe was matching up against one of the top 10 defensive units in the NBA that year. And to make things even more interesting, there was only one time in Kobe's entire postseason career where he had the privilege to match up against a team that had a bottom 10 defense. This matchup occurred in the 2010 Western Conference Finals, where the Lakers went up against a Phoenix Suns team that had the 23rd ranked defense in the NBA that season. And by the end of the series,
hold on, oh my God, oh my Lord, dropped the shit.
You could argue.
Hold on, we gotta go back. First of all, this pull-up.
The Lakers went up against a Phoenix Suns team that had the 23rd.
Off balance. That's one of Kobe's special gifts that he learned and trained his balls off. Off balance. Look at that. Oh, God, Kobe. The amount of reps he had to do for that. Oh.
In the NBA that season, and by the end of the season,
and then he hit Sean Marion, which I'm not sure if he was such a great defender still at that time, but look at Sean Marion. Looking for his contacts on the floor right now.
You could argue Kobe had the
Good
best
Lord.
series of his entire career, averaging
Look at
nearly
Kobe,
34 points, 7 rebounds, 8 assists, and with a true shooting percentage of nearly 64%, which was roughly 12% higher than league average that season. Now, what exactly does all this
foul
mean?
in today's game too. Yo, sis, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care.
Put some numbers on it so you can get a better understanding of how impressive all of this is. During the years of 2000 and 2013, the league average defensive rating is 105.6. However, Kobe Bryant's competition in the playoffs on average had a defensive rating of 102.4. And remember, with defensive rating, the lower the number, the better, which means that Kobe Bryant's defensive competition in the playoffs had a defensive rating differential of negative 3.1. To put that into context, if we did the exact same thing for Michael Jordan, the league average throughout his years in the playoffs was 107.5, with his competition having a defensive rating of 105.3, which means that the defensive differential would be less than Kobe's. And if we did the exact same thing with LeBron, again, the defensive differential is not on par with Kobe Bryant's competition.
At all.
Meaning that Kobe Bryant had to match up against tougher defensive competition throughout his playoff career. So the fact that Kobe's shooting efficiency only dropped by 1%, despite the fact that he matched up against all-time great defensive units throughout his postseason career, is even more mind-blowing and should further dispel any narrative that Kobe Bryant was quote-unquote inefficient. So, with all of this time, research, and context implied into Kobe Bryant's career and the label of him being inefficient finally being debunked, you would believe that I would be content in the concept of debunking this whole Kobe Bryant is inefficient narrative. But I'm just not. I'm sorry, people. I don't understand how so many people can be wrong at this. There has to be some way that people are looking at this through a lens of Kobe Bryant being inefficient. So let's just remove all variables and blindly compare Kobe Bryant's true shooting percentage between the years 2000 and 2013.
Oh my
which
God,
again
that
is
turnaround.
55.6%. to today's era of basketball, because that would be the only way possible that I can imagine that someone could confidently claim that Kobe Bryant is indeed inefficient. But even when I do that, there aren't that many years where that would be applicable to. I looked over several years over the course of the past decade,
Rest
and
in peace,
honestly
Bill.
only came up with 3 years where Kobe Bryant's true shooting percentage would be below league average. Those 3 years are 2019, 2020, and the 2021 season.
That's when he was in the tail end of his years, though.
Literally it. So even if you are someone who wouldn't use relative true shooting percentage and just ignorantly compare Kobe Bryant across league history just willy-nilly, there's only 3 years in which you could claim that Kobe Bryant was an inefficient
That was on the tail end of his years,
But
yes.
if you do that, you're dumb. You are literally stripping away several layers of context that is needed for this complex conversation.
Absolutely.
Furthermore, after me and my team did the research for this video, shout out to Classy and No Layups, we all agreed that Kobe Bryant is not only efficient, but there are very legitimate arguments that back up the claim that he is one of the greatest scorers the league has ever seen.
Yes.
But if that is not a stance that you're willing to take, I beg you, please, at bare minimum, stop calling Kobe Bryant inefficient.
Yeah,
because it is easily one of the biggest lies I've heard being told about one of the all-time greats. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit the thumbs up button. And again,
great
shout
video,
out to
Lo.
my research team of both Classy and No Layups. Their links will be in the description.
Great
Go check
video,
them out.
Lo.
And also, make sure you follow me on Twitter as
And follow the homie, man. Legend of Winning, man. Love what you do, brother. Love the fact that you out here putting the truth online, you know? Because, bro, for the longest period of time, that's one of the things we always used to hear was that Kobe was inefficient and all this other nonsense. And it always came to me, it was just like, someone that great is not, there's no way he's inefficient. Like, even through the eye test, I used to always just sit there and just consistently just look and just gander and try to figure out where this narrative came from, you know? I don't know if people hated Kobe around back in the day or not. I'm not too sure personally myself, but I love Kobe. Kobe, that Mamba mentality, he really, goddamn, red as hell. That Kobe mentality really meant a lot to me, because that was just that was the mantra for me for a long period of time, bro. A long period of time, man. And he was on his way, and even making sure a lot of the young sisters got a lot of love, building more facilities for them, building more camps, and doing all those kind of things for them, giving them more love. So, and I love that about Kobe, for all of our little sisters and them, man. I loved it. It's a shame it's a shame him, Gigi, and those other passengers had to go home, man. Had to go upstairs to home, man. It's a shame. But his legacy is always gonna live on, man. That Mamba mentality will always live on, bro. It really always will, man. But Kobe's in my top 10. So you guys let me know. Is Kobe in your top 10? Do you still think Kobe is still inefficient? Let me know down below in the comments, man. I appreciate you guys for stopping by. I appreciate you guys for joining the Banks family as well, too. And for those that are not sure yet joined the Banks family, go on ahead, baby. We all some good people over here. I love you guys, man. I appreciate you guys for all the love. This is your boy Melly, signing out of here. And per usual, peace, love, and keep that drip immaculate at all times, baby. Love y'all, man. Peace.